I returned to the park about a month ago. It had been 2 years since my last shift as a park ranger. At 35, I had worked in the park for over 10 years. I thought I knew every trail, every tree. After my divorce, I decided it was time for a fresh start. Just me and the woods. The first night back in the ranger station was quiet. I set up my sleeping bag and made myself some coffee. The air was crisp, filled with the smell of pine. Everything seemed perfect. But as night fell, that peace quickly turned unsettling. I heard a soft rustling outside. I thought it was a deer or maybe a raccoon. I ignored it at first. Then the sounds changed. I heard thumping against the wood. Each thump sent a shiver down my spine. Suddenly, everything went silent. My heart raced in that stillness. In the morning, I brushed it off. Maybe it was just a branch hitting the station. I spent the day walking the trails, checking campsites, and looking for any trouble. But as night came again, I felt like I was being watched. The wind seemed to whisper secrets. There were no campers close enough to hear them, so I pushed it away. Around midnight, I heard footsteps. They moved around the station. I don't remember when I finally fell asleep, but I did so uneasy. The next day, I met Tom, an older ranger. He'd been at the park for years. When I mentioned the strange noises, he looked at me with wide eyes. "You hear anything unusual?" he asked. I nodded. Tom told me tales about the park's past. He talked about visitors who disappeared and strange happenings. "This place has its secrets," he warned. I thought it was just folklore, but it didn't sit well with me. As I continued my shifts, things got weirder. I started seeing moving shadows in the trees. Campers would approach me, eyes wide. I heard voices at night. It felt like someone was calling my name, one said. I felt cold terror creep in. I noticed trail markers disappearing too. One day I walked a path and half the markers were gone, as if they had never existed. Then, one night, it happened. I was outside trying to collect myself. Then that silence returned. It felt heavy. Suddenly, through the darkness, I saw a figure standing there, watching me. I called out, "Is anyone there?" Silence. My heart pounded. I took a slow step forward, and it vanished. I wish I could explain it, but I couldn't. Then I heard it. A voice in the whispering trees said, "Get out." I whipped around. Nobody was there. I spent the next day trying to shake off the previous night's terror. I couldn't focus. Every rustle in the trees made me jump. I decided to call Tom for a coffee. I needed to talk to someone who understood the weight of the woods. When I got to the cafe, Tom was already there, looking thoughtful. I slid into the booth across from him. "I think something is wrong in the park," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. He nodded, focusing on his cup. "You're not the first to feel it," he told me, "about a recent ranger, a young guy named Rick." "Rick had been hearing things too," Tom said. "He started going out at night, alone, looking for answers." I felt a chill. "What happened to him?" I asked. Tom's gaze lifted. "He disappeared without a trace, just like the others." I took a deep breath. "What do you mean, the others?" He looked uneasy. "There have been several vanished over the years. It's like they're swallowed by the forest. You can't see it, but you can feel it." Each word weighed heavily. We wrapped up our conversation, but I felt more lost than when I'd come in. That night, I decided to do a little investigation of my own. I wanted to know what was happening in the park. I grabbed a flashlight and my gear, determined not to let fear rule me. As I stepped back into the woods, the change in atmosphere was immediate. The quiet felt thicker. I took the old trail towards Bull's Run, the one I knew well. Halfway there, a shiver raced down my spine. I noticed something white hanging low in a tree. A torn piece of fabric? I walked closer to inspect it. It looked like a part of a shirt.
I felt a tight knot of anxiety in my chest. Had it belonged to Rick? If he had come this way? I swallowed hard and took a deep breath. I couldn't turn back. The night was calling. Suddenly, I heard branches snap behind me. My heart raced. I spun around, but there was nothing. The darkness felt alive, and I knew I wasn't alone. Panic set in as I pushed deeper into the forest. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The whispers began again, this time clearer, echoing softly through the trees. "Help us." Then everything went silent. I felt a presence close. "Who?" I called out, but no one answered. That's when I spotted it, a faint light flickering in the distance. My breath hitched. I thought about turning back, but curiosity rooted me to the spot. I took a step toward the light. The forest shifted. The trees seemed to lean closer. Before I could decide what to do, the light disappeared. My heart dropped. Just as I turned to leave, a figure darted behind a tree ahead of me. I froze, paralyzed by a mix of fear and resolve. I had to find out who or what was waiting in the darkness. With a shaky breath, I moved toward where the figure had vanished. The figure was gone. My heart pounded, and I hesitated, second-guessing my instincts. The spacious woods now felt claustrophobic. Each breath rattled in my chest as I strained to listen for any sound. I felt like I was in a trap set by the forest itself. I decided to keep moving forward. Part of me wanted to scream for whoever it was, but the other part kept saying to stay silent. I turned in the direction of the original flicker of light, hoping maybe it would show itself again. I crept through the underbrush, trying to stay quiet. The night felt thick, almost oppressive. Every snap of a twig underfoot echoed like a drum in my ears. As I pushed deeper, I noticed the air had changed. It was cold, too cold for that time of year. Suddenly, I came upon the clearing, a small opening surrounded by tall trees. In the center, a flickering candle sat on a makeshift table. It looked out of place, like it had been dropped there by accident. My breath quickened. I glanced around, expecting someone to leap from the shadows, but I was still alone. I approached the candle carefully. Next to it lay a diary, weathered and open. The sight of it sent a jolt through me. I lifted the diary to examine it. The pages were filled with frantic handwriting. Names were scrawled everywhere. Most of them were unfamiliar, but several were highlighted. My stomach turned as I recognized one name, Rick. What had he been doing here? I turned the pages, scanning for more. Notes about late-night noises, strange lights, and at least 3 entries mentioning the Watchers. My pulse raced. Who were the Watchers? Why were they watching? I barely registered the sound of shuffling feet behind me. I spun around, my heart dropping. "Hello?" I called, voice trembling. Silence answered me. My instincts screamed that I needed to run, but I was rooted to the spot, paralyzed by curiosity. Then I saw movement on the edge of the clearing. A shadow flitted from tree to tree, dark against the moonlight. "Who's there?" I shouted, but it only quickened the pace of the shadow. Panic surged within me, and I clutched the diary tight, noting how cold it had suddenly become. "Please, help us!" An echoing voice called from somewhere deep in the woods, warped and pleading. My heart raced faster. The whispers had returned, merging into one desperate cry. "Don't!" I tore my gaze from the disappearing figure and looked once more at the candle. Someone had put it there for a reason. I took a shaky step back and nearly stumbled over the low table. The air felt charged, tinged with dread. I had to decide. I could either follow the figure or search more in the clearing. Just then, the candle flickered violently, as if reacting to an unseen force. A gust of wind whipped through, snuffing it out completely, plunging me into darkness. That's when I heard it. A rustle, unmistakably close. Something was crawling through the brush. My breath hitched as I turned toward the sound. the shadows extending like fingers.
Eager to grasp me. There was no time left. I took off, fear propelling me deeper into the woods. What I left behind in the clearing began to settle, a truth I wasn't ready to confront. As I crashed through the branches, I couldn't shake the feeling that whatever had been drawn to the light was now following me, and I was far from alone. The trees loomed over me, their branches clawing at the sky. I dashed forward, heart pounding, but I couldn't shake the urgency of that voice. Help us. It echoed in my mind, growing louder with each step I took. I forced my legs to move faster, even as the scratches of branches and gnarled roots threatened to trip me. I stumbled into a narrow path, the uncertainty of the woods all around me. Each shadow seemed alive, as if the very forest was whispering secrets I wasn't meant to hear. I shot a look over my shoulder. Was something behind me? I couldn't see anything, but I felt it, a presence lurking, watching. Pushing through the underbrush, I reached another clearing, this one smaller but dense with an air of unease. The moonlight revealed a ring of stones arranged in a circle, odd and out of place. A memory flickered back to me, a story I had heard one night around the campfire. Something about ancient rituals and offerings made to unseen entities. I stopped, breathless, caught between fear and fascination. I had to know more. I approached the stones, peering down into the dirt at the center of the circle. That was when I noticed something partially buried, glinting in the moonlight. My pulse quickened again as I knelt closer. It was a necklace, intricately woven, with a small crystal hanging from it. My fingers trembled as I brushed away dirt. Just like the names in the diary, the necklace felt wrong, like it belonged to a world I didn't understand. It felt charged with that same cold energy that had enveloped me earlier. As I held it up, the shadows crept closer, the air thickening with a sudden tension. Then I heard a voice, familiar yet haunting. Why are you here? A figure stepped from the darkness, and my breath caught in my throat. It was Rick, but not as I remembered him. His eyes were wide, almost wild, and panic clung to him like mist. Rick, is that you? I forced the words out, uncertain. Why did you come? He spat, grasping my wrist tightly. You shouldn't have come back. They will know. Who will know? I stammered, trying to shake off his grip. His panic was contagious. The woods felt alive again, a tangible force pressing against us. The Watchers, he breathed. They don't like trespassers. As if on cue, the shadows shifted. I straightened, my instincts flaring. What do you mean, the Watchers? Before Rick could respond, a rustle echoed from behind him, the same sound I'd heard before. I felt the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. The urgency surged again, mixing with dread. And that's when I saw it. A pair of glowing eyes among the trees, fixing on us with a hunger that sent a jolt of fear through my veins. We need to go, right now, I shouted, panic taking over. But Rick didn't move. He stared at the eyes as if entranced. You don't understand. You can't leave. The woods buzzed with anticipation, shadows twisting tighter around us. My breath came quick. I took a step back, the necklace slipping from my fingers and falling heavily to the ground. I had made a mistake coming here, and now we were both trapped in a web woven by something far more sinister. Could I leave him behind? A decision was tormenting me. One thing was clear. Whatever had been watching us wasn't giving up easily. I felt the weight of Rick's gaze, still fixed on those glowing eyes. Panic clawed at my throat. Rick, please, we have to go, I shouted again, pulling at his arm. But he wouldn't budge, absorbed in whatever nightmare was before us. Don't you see? He finally whispered, his voice shaky. They're waiting. They're always watching. In that moment, the shadows shifted again, and more eyes appeared, circling us like wolves.
I could feel the air thickening, the forest holding its breath, ready to unleash something terrifying. Something primal twisted inside me, urging me to run. Instinct kicked in, sharp and unyielding. I turned to sprint down the path, desperate to escape this nightmarish scene. But before I could move, Rick yanked me back. "You can't outrun them. You have to understand what they want." His grip was fierce now, like a lifeline I didn't want but couldn't escape. "Understand what?" I demanded, fighting against him. The hairs on my neck prickled, and I could hear movement among the trees, rustling, claws scraping against bark. "This isn't a game, Rick." He hesitated, eyes darting to the darkness that seemed to close in around us. "I thought I could protect you, but you have the necklace. They won't let you leave unless you give it to them." My heart sank as I looked at the necklace lying on the ground, its crystal glinting with an almost magnetic effect. "Give it to who?" My voice shook. "To what?" The glowing eyes multiplied. The whispers now filled the air, potent and eerie, pulling me deeper into a whirlpool of dread and curiosity. "You have to make a choice," Rick urged, his breath coming in quick gasps. "It's either them or us." Fear coursed through me like a poison. I knew I had to act, and fast. Adrenaline flooded my veins, drowning out doubt. I ripped my wrist free from Rick's grip and raced toward the necklace. As I knelt to grab it, a shadow lunged from the trees, a hulking mass of fur and teeth. That's when everything blurred into chaos. I stumbled back just as the
air exploded with a guttural growl, the creature emerging from the darkness in a flurry of claws and saliva. I screamed, "Run!" Rick shouted, his voice urgent, fierce. I didn't need to be told twice. I scrambled to my feet, heart hammering against my ribs as I darted past him. I plunged into the thicket, branches whipping against me, but I had to escape. The creature chased behind, its snarls echoing in my ears, a sound steeped in primal fury. "This way!" Rick's voice broke through the cacophony, cutting like a knife. I glanced back and saw him darting between the trees, his own fear palpable. Just then, I heard another rustle. Something blocked my path, a massive figure materializing from the shadows, this one even larger than the first. My pulse quickened as I skidded to a halt, trapped between Rick's voice and an impending nightmare. They were closing in, and I was left with only a choice: keep running blindly into the unknown, or risk everything to understand the darkness haunting this place. I took a breath, eyes darting from Rick to the shadows ready to pounce. And then I made my decision. I would face whatever this was, even if the cost was my very soul. I took a shaky step forward, heart racing. The glowing eyes around us shifted, watching, waiting. I remembered the necklace, the strange power it seemed to hold. Did it really mean something to them? I had to find out. Slowly, I knelt down, hands trembling as I reached for the glinting crystal. It pulsed with energy, almost warm to my touch. Rick's warning echoed in my mind, but I couldn't stop now. The creature growled again, stalking on the edge of darkness, inching closer to me. "Rick!" I yelled, adrenaline fueling my words. "What do I do?" "Just hold it up," he shouted back, fear threading through his voice. "Show them! They want to see, but don't let them take it." I glanced over my shoulder at the beast, and for a moment I hesitated. An urge to flee clawed at my mind, but something deeper pulled me toward the necklace. I held it aloft, the light brightening. The creature paused, its eyes narrowing, as if trying to understand my intent. Then the whispers intensified, swelling in the air around us. They were louder now, layered over one another. It felt like they were speaking directly to me. "Give, give, take." The words blurred together like a storm over the ocean. "Can they understand us?" I asked, mostly to myself. Rick stepped closer, his own uncertainty playing across his face. "They want you to give it up, but they may not mean harm. Not yet." The dark creature moved, muscles tensing as it stepped out of the shadows. I realized it was not just one beast, it was a pack, a multitude of shapes obscured by night. I swallowed hard. "Please," I shouted at the creatures, desperation spilling from my lips. "I don't want to fight. I just want to understand." With that, the tension in the air changed. The leading beast stopped. Those piercing eyes locked onto the necklace, and the others hesitated, as if they were weighing my words. I didn't dare look away. My heart thundered in my chest, each pulse loud and clear as if it were trying to break free. Then, a low growl vibrated through the ground. It rippled, spreading through the surrounding trees. Every shadow around us seemed to shrink back, almost as if the creatures were drawing into a circle, waiting for something. "They want an offering," Rick murmured, eyes wide. "An offering?" My stomach dropped. What does that even mean? Rick stepped closer to me. "I don't know. Maybe you have to choose what to give them? The necklace or something personal?" As the weight of his words hit me, I began to feel dizzy. How could I give up the only protection I had? But the fear in Rick's eyes, the way the beasts shifted around us, made it clear. They were patient, but they were not going away. Then something caught my attention. A figure stepped out from the shadows. A woman, pale and ghostly, her eyes vacant, but filled with an otherworldly understanding. She raised her hand, and I felt the necklace draw against my skin, a magnetic pull unlike anything I had ever experienced. "Make your choice." Her voice was soft, but carried a weight that cracked the air. Before I could process what was happening, the world tilted, and I felt myself drawn toward her, the glowing necklace slipping from my fingers into the dark. I gasped, but it was too late. I was no longer the one in control, and the creatures were shifting, restless and hungry. "What have I done?" My voice trembled as I watched the darkness close in around me, and then everything went black. The darkness wrapped around me like a heavy blanket. I couldn't see, couldn't hear anything but silence. My heart raced, a desperate rhythm pounding in my ears. Panic welled up, clenching at my throat. Had I lost everything? Suddenly, a faint light flickered to life, illuminating my surroundings. I found myself in a misty clearing, the air thick with an eerie calm. The beasts had faded, replaced by a sense of weightlessness. But that didn't comfort me. Shadows still darted around the edges, forming shapes that seemed to pulse and shift in the low light. I felt my hands. It was still there, the weight of the necklace. No, it wasn't in my hands. It lay against my chest, its warmth seeping into my skin. But it felt different now, stronger, or maybe more volatile. I could sense its power, a connection binding me to whatever realm I'd wandered into. "Rick?" I called, voice shaky. No answer. I looked around, but I was alone. The mist curled around me, and the trees loomed taller, their branches like skeletal hands reaching for the mist. Sky. Then I saw her, the woman. She moved gracefully between the trees, her figure glowing in the dim light. "You've come to us willingly," she said, her voice a distant echo. "But you must confront the truth of your choice." "My choice?" I echoed, confusion flooding my mind. "Where's Rick? Where are the creatures?" "They remain in the boundary," she intoned, her eyes reflecting a depth that made me shiver. "But you have invited them into your world. You are their bridge now." I swallowed hard, fear threading through me. A bridge? What did that mean? "I didn't mean to." "Your intentions do not matter. The necklace binds you." She pointed at the crystal. "Each heartbeat strengthens your connection.
What will you do with that power? I took a step back, my mind racing. The necklace was a burden, a lure, but it also felt like a key. I clenched my fists. I'm not ready for this. I need to go back. I need to find Rick. The woman tilted her head. There lies the choice. You may return, but understand, you will carry this burden. Or you may stay and learn the depths of the shadows that call to you. Before I could respond, the mist thickened around me, spiraling like a tornado. Dark shapes pressed in from the edges, teasing at my vision. I felt something brush against me, cold, like a warning. I instinctively knew it was them, the creatures I tried to communicate with. "What are you?" I shouted into the swirling chaos, fear bubbling at my core. "Guardians of lost souls," came a chorus of voices, intermingling with the wind. "Offer your truth or face the darkness." My heart raced again, this time not from fear, but from realization. These creatures weren't simply monsters, they were protectors, guides, of those lost in the shadows. They wanted me to understand, to face something deeper within myself. There was no way to navigate back unless I made a decision. Suddenly, something stirred in me, a memory, a buried truth. I had carried pain, fear, and doubt far too long. If I was to confront these guardians, I had to confront myself. "I will face it," I declared, the words bursting from my lips. "I don't want to run anymore." The woman nodded, her expression softening. The mist receded, revealing the pack, their eyes still glowing, but now with a hint of curiosity. I sensed the air shift around me, pulsing with anticipation. That's when I saw it, a heavy darkness pooling in the corner of my vision. It swirled like smoke and edged closer, reaching for me like opening jaws. It felt alive. "What is that?" I gasped, dread creeping in. One of the shadows detached itself from the pack, rushing at me before I could react. And then, everything exploded into chaos once again. The darkness rushed over me like a wave, swallowing my thoughts. I stumbled backward, my heart thrumming in my chest. My instincts screamed at me to run, but I was rooted in place. The creatures had shifted, forming an almost protective arc around the mist that now engulfed me. The shadow lunged, and for a split second, I felt its cold breath against my skin. Panic flooded my system. I couldn't escape what was happening here, not now. Instinct kicked in, and I raised my hands defensively. "Stop! I'm not your enemy!" To my surprise, the shadow halted, hovering just inches from my face. It wavered, as if considering my plea. I held my breath, captivated by the conflicting emotions swirling within the shape: confusion, sadness, and anger. Then, the woman stepped forward, her radiant presence casting a steadier light in the chaos. "It senses your fear," she said, her voice still echoing. "But it also knows your truth. What is it that you fear most?" The question hit deeper than I expected. I thought of all the times I had run from my fears, abandoning relationships, dreams, opportunities. Rick's face flashed in my mind, and I whispered, "Losing everything, losing him." The shadow quivered. I felt a pull, as if it were drawn closer by my admission. "You must embrace your fear," the woman instructed. "How?" I choked out. "I don't know how to do that." "Face it," she replied gently, a hint of urgency threading through her calm demeanor. "Look into the darkness and let it show you what it hides." I hesitated, but the shadow seemed less menacing now, its edges softening. I took a deep breath and focused on it. The swirling shadows morphed, revealing flashes of my past,
My childhood mistakes, moments of loss, and glimpses of Rick looking disappointed. The truth materialized before me. I had held on to those feelings, letting them bind me tightly. I didn't know I'd internalized all this, I murmured. It's like I've carried it all alone. As I acknowledged my truth, something shifted. The shadow pulsed, almost tenderly, and I felt a warmth radiate from the necklace against my chest. It thrummed with energy, syncing with my breathing. I realized that in facing my deepest fear, I was beginning to understand my connection to this realm and the creatures within it. It recognizes your strength, the woman said, her gaze steady. You can forge a new path, but there's still a choice you must make. Will you allow it to guide you, or will you keep fighting against it? Before I could respond, a sudden roar split the silence, a sound that felt like a knife through the air. The shadows shifted abruptly, and I turned my head to see more figures emerging, their forms denser and more defined. They were bigger, their eyes glinting with a predatory light. The urgency of the moment enveloped me. What are they? I gasped, dread washing over me. They are the manifestations of your past fears, the woman declared, her presence now steeped in seriousness. Face them, or they will consume you. I felt my pulse quicken as the first creature stepped forward. It matched my memories, dark and powerful, a reflection of everything I feared I could become. I had no choice now. I needed to stand firm. But what if I couldn't? What would happen if I failed? The looming shadows drew closer, and an uncertain resolve bubbled within me. I was in this, and there was no turning back. The first creature let out a low growl, its twisted form a reminder of every doubt I brushed aside. I couldn't afford to show weakness now. The woman's words echoed in my mind. It was time to embrace this fear. "Why are you here?" I shouted, my voice cracking but steadying with fervor. The creature paused, its eyes narrowing. In that moment, I saw myself reflected back, a version of me that felt lost and broken. "They feed on your uncertainties," the woman said, moving closer. "You must claim your power. You have faced the darkness before. This is no different." I took a step forward, propelled by my growing anger. "You don't scare me," I shouted. "I won't let you define who I am." My heart raced, adrenaline coursing through me as I spoke. The shadowy creatures remained still, as if awaiting my next move. Suddenly, in reaction to my defiance, the second creature lunged. It was a grotesque imitation of the things I craved but feared: success, connection, love. "You think you can escape," it hissed, darkness swirling around it like a storm. I felt the room constricting, the shadows pressing in, but I wasn't going to crumble now. "I can't let you control me," I said, my voice stronger. Images of my past flashed again. An empty room, a phone call that should have been made, moments where I had turned away from Rick, from myself. The first creature drew closer. "Clinging to the past will bury you," it warned, its voice cold and jagged. "No," I shouted back, "I'm not afraid of you anymore." Suddenly, my necklace pulsed sharply against my chest, almost as if it had a heartbeat. The warmth spread through me, igniting something deep within. "You're not in control," I declared, lifting my chin. I felt a sense of clarity rise in me, a fierce determination. The creatures recoiled, as if my boldness had caught them off guard. Then I noticed a shimmer in the fog behind them, a path illuminated by a soft light. It beckoned me, promising escape, freedom from this confrontation. "What's that?" I asked, my gaze shifting away from the creatures. "That echoes the truth you seek," the woman replied, urgency lighting her eyes. "It's your path forward, but you must make a choice.
Stay and fight your fears, or take the leap into the light. The moment hung in the air, heavy with tension. I knew I had to make a choice, but the creatures were still pressing in. I felt their cool reality pressing down on me, urging me to yield. The light behind seemed to shimmer.
But I didn't want to run. I was tired of retreating. The shadow creatures trembled with uncertainty, and I could almost taste the fear in the air. "Stand with me," I yelled, raising my hands toward the light. "I refuse to let you win." As I spoke those words, the shadowy forms began to blur, their fierce attitudes flickering, as if I had disrupted their hold on me. They hesitated, their malevolence lingering, but wavering. Then something broke. In that split second of doubt, I saw it, the flicker of hesitation in their eyes, and I took a bold step toward the light. But just as I was about to cross the threshold, I heard a deafening roar behind me, echoing through the darkness. I turned to see a massive form rising, one unlike any of the others, a surging titan of shadow. Fear gripped me anew. I had stumbled upon something greater, something that towered over my past fears, and now I knew this encounter was only the beginning. I ran without thinking, the forest closing in around me as panic surged through my veins. The oppressive darkness seemed almost physical, an entity that wanted to swallow me whole. The shadows loomed close, and I could hear their whispers, a cacophony echoing in my mind, taunting me. Just as the titan of shadow launched forward, I evaded it, twisting and darting down a narrow path, branches snagging at my clothes as I barreled through the underbrush. The ground beneath my feet felt unstable, like it was shifting with every step I took. I needed to escape desperately. I couldn't stop. I had to reach the light. As I tore deeper into the woods, I spotted a faint glow flickering through the trees. It was the same luminance I had seen earlier, shimmering like a beacon in the dark. It urged me on, promising safety, or perhaps an answer to the chaos. With a surge of determination, I pushed toward it, the shadows snapping close behind me. When I broke into a clearing, I was nearly blinded by the light. It poured through in a warm cascade, and I stumbled to a halt, breathing heavily. The glow enveloped me, and as I regained my bearings, I realized I was standing once again before the ring of stones, the odd arrangement that had felt so alien moments before. But this time, the atmosphere was different. The oppressive weight of fear lifted slightly, revealing an ethereal pull that filled the air. I stepped forward cautiously, the intimate flickering of the light drawing me in. The necklace against my chest pulsed again. I could feel it vibrating with energy. The connection was invigorating. Suddenly, I heard voices rising within the light, flowing like a current around me. They weren't whispers anymore. They formed words that echoed in harmonious unity. "You have chosen. Let go of your fears." "But how?" I called out, still uncertain. "What will happen now?" The shadows were still poised at the edges of the clearing, dark forms enveloping the trees, waiting and hungry. I could feel their anticipation. The woman's voice echoed in my mind. "You must confront the fear, not flee it." I clenched my fists, remembering the shape of the monstrous titan and how it had embodied all I tried to avoid. My past mistakes, my failures, and the relationships I had let fall away. I felt a rush of resolve surge through me, igniting the courage laid dormant at the edges of my thoughts. "I'm done running," I said. And the moment I spoke, the light intensified, illuminating the clearing in a pure, blinding radiance. The shadows shrank back, howling in frustration, their forms trembling as they rushed toward the borders of the clearing. They weren't ready for my defiance. For the first time, I felt a sense of control. I reached for the necklace, allowing its energy to flow through me, anchoring my resolve. "Show me what I need to face," I shouted. and at that moment, the shadows curled and roiled, forming a bridge of darkness between me and the flickering light. It felt like the barriers between our worlds were thinning. The watchful eyes of the creatures flared, and I knew I was vulnerable. Yet I stood firm. "I accept what I've tried to suppress," I shouted, defiantly, the words spilling forth as if they were never mine to contain. "I accept my fears, my guilt, and all the times I ran away. But I will not let you destroy what I've built. I will reclaim my life." With the final exclamation, the shadow creatures howled, rearing back as the blinding light surged forward, washing over them. They shrank and twisted, morphing into shapes that mirrored my memories, doubts and anxieties forming forms, lingering until they could no longer bear the illumination. For a moment, there was utter silence. I stood in that clearing, light thrumming through my chest as my past fears unraveled. The luminous glow shone brighter than anything I had ever known. But even in that embrace of warmth, the whispers lingered in the edges of my awareness, threads of uncertainty woven through the light. I could sense the shadows lurking at the clearing's edge, their shapes now less menacing, but they were still present. I couldn't deny them. I had faced my fears, but not without leaving questions unanswered. What would happen to the shadows? Would they ever truly vanish? And what about Rick? Was he still lost in the depths of this darkened forest? Before I could ponder those questions, something inside me urged me forward, deeper into the light. It was time to choose. Taking a step toward the illumination, the necklace pulsed one last time. I embraced it, knowing the darkness may always exist, intertwined with my own shadow. But I was ready for whatever truth awaited me beyond this night. As the light enveloped me fully, I whispered into the air, "I'm finding my way home."